These are the techniques for Asian body therapy for the prone section of shiatsu. So just a little reminder for doing shiatsu work on the table, since it's traditionally done on the floor. In order to lean from the hara, which is here, we want the table lower than we would normally have for Swedish massage, which would be at your knuckles, or would be like can you see it from here, Jody? Okay, like this, or like this. For shiatsu, I want to start with my fingertips brushing the table. I might want it lower, maybe not, but that's a nice starting point. So first we start out, you want to take a breath and connect to your own hara, and you're thinking of working hara to hara, so you're connecting to your client's hara. So just take a moment. The first technique is the diagonal stretch. One hand goes on one shoulder, the other hand goes on the opposite hip, and all you do is lean from the hara. And then you do the same thing on the opposite side. You can do it by shifting your hips this way, or I find it easier to cross my hands and do it this way. And I'm catching the shoulder blade just in the palm of my hand, and the iliac crest in the palm of my hand. Okay. The second technique is the lumbar stretch with crossed hands, and I want them as parallel as I can so that I don't have a twisted pressure. One hand goes on the sacrum, the other one crosses over and goes between the shoulder blades right over the spine. And again, I lean straight down. I can try it with straight elbows, and if that doesn't work for you, because we're all different sizes and heights, you can lean in with bent elbows. And then I just lean out. And what it looks like I'm moving my arms like this, I'm just keeping my hands exactly where they are, and the weight and the lean from the hara is what makes it go out. The next we're going to work from just below the shoulder blades to the slope of the hips. And we're going to do palming and then thumbing along the spine. With the palming, again, we want to lean from the hara. I'm going to show you 3 different ways to do it. This is Sam, our lovely model. And we don't want to have parallel hands to the spine. We don't want to have fingers close together. We want nice, relaxed palms. And the pressure's coming through the eye of the palm, which is right here. So when I'm leaning from the hara, my pressure's coming from the hara through that eye of the palm and just spreading into the palm and the fingertips. So the hands should be pliable and slightly apart. So this is one method. You can also use a chicken wing. One of my students called this the chicken wing with the elbow out. That gives you a more even pressure. So I'm just going to walk my palming down Sam's back. I'm sort of lunging in a tippy toe on my back leg, coming up on my tippy toe. That's method number 1. Method number 2 is you can drop your client's arm off the side of the table so you don't squash it, and you can place your the lower knee on the table, and then my tippy toe is on the floor, and now it gives me balance. I have a little more pressure and a little more lean from the hara. So this is method number 2. And again, it's a rhythmic, I call it like the ocean waves. They go into the shore and then they go back out. Like breathing, in and out is breathing. You breathe with your movements. Method number 3 is you get both knees up on the table. Because it's traditionally done on the floor, my ankles wouldn't hang off the table. They would be braced on the floor. But in this case, your ankles are hanging off the table. You have to have pretty good balance. But then again, this is more true to the form, but it may not be that comfortable or convenient on the table. It depends how much you're doing this. But you can try all 3 methods. And the same will go for the thumbing. And I just go to the slope of his hips. Okay. So that was the palming down the back. Now we do the same track doing the thumbing, and there are 2 ways to do the thumbing. One is it's going to look exactly the same as the palming. I'm leaning into my thumbs. So it's a little, so I'm kind of rocking into my thumbs, but my palms are still in contact. And I'm going to do it from this position for this one, since I'm here. Same thing. Or I can do with raised thumbs, you know, kind of like I call them high heels, and then my fingers and my palms are my braces. And then that's a deeper pressure, but I'm not trying to go. I'm just leaning in like the ocean wave and leaning out. Leaning in and leaning out. And you can rock slightly, or I think of like a little blade of grass waving very slightly back and forth in a light breeze. It's not in a thunderstorm. So when I get to the bottom of this line, I'm going to continue to go over the sacral holes. So I'm going to hop onto the sacrum. I'll hop off the table in a moment to show you what I just did on my own body. So what I did is I went, so in anatomical terms, I just thumbed down the laminar groove, and then I continued. Here's the sacrum, and it has those little holes. You're imagining, if you don't know where to feel them, that's okay. You just go on come out a little bit and thumb down the flat part of the sacrum. If you start sinking in, you've gone too far. You want to go before stop before the tailbone. Okay. So all of these things you would just do once.